Now let's look into what Copilot can do in Microsoft Word. So what we'll do is we will go and open up a Microsoft 365 environment. And in this example, I'm going to demonstrate Copilot in Microsoft Word in a new document here in a online version of Word. So we are now opening up a document. The document name has been named document 3. And now we can start writing content using Copilot. So what we see here is the text environment. If I go into Copilot like this, I can now start communicating with Copilot. So this allows me to respond to questions and we can chat about things in this document. However, another thing we can do is we can also go in and open up Copilot to start creating content for us. In order to do so, we can go in and start to create content from here. So what we do is we open up a solution here. We can then tell, hey, write a 2-page article about whatever we would be interested in. For example, about quantum computing and security. So what we'll do is we will now instruct Copilot for creating content for us. Now, Copilot is trained based on OpenAI technology using ChatGPT. So in the back, what will happen is that my Copilot prompt is now going to go in and it's going to create content here. But what you'll see here in this version of Copilot here on the right-hand side, it is now creating the content. If I'm happy with this, I could just copy this and then paste it straight into Copilot. But as you can see, we didn't really get what we wanted because it is not two pages here. It's not an article that is long enough for what we wanted. Another way for us to go and work with Copilot is that we can go in and open, for example, Microsoft Word on a computer. So what I'll do here is I'm going to open up Microsoft Word and let's open up a new document. Now, what we'll see here in my full version of Microsoft Word is that I can start using a key combination to start working with Copilot. So here, what I can do is create this document, and I am going to just allow it to create the exact same content. So I want to have a 2-page article about quantum computing and security. In this case, I will just click generate. And now we can have Copilot do the work for us. Just like this, the document is being created. Microsoft is going to, Word is taking care of the headings and everything. It will start creating content about what quantum computing is, what are the applications, or for example, what are the challenges in quantum computing. And if this is what we like, and as you can see here, we sort of, well, it's still not 2 pages. So apparently I was not very clear about that, but I can go and say, hey, make it a longer document. And then we can go and send this back and we can see whether or not Copilot is now able to provide us with a document that is showing us a little bit more information. And as you can see, the first parts are already bigger. The applications of quantum computing is also being extended here. And we can now see that the document is going to serve more, get more content here. So just like this, we can see that we are getting a nice document here. And the coolest part about all of this is that we, using Copilot for Microsoft 365, we never have again to start with a clean slate because we don't really need to start creating a document. Copilot will just start creating the document for us. It is, however, super important to always realize that Copilot is an AI system, and with that, it is important to understand that Copilot needs you to be in charge. If Copilot is the Copilot, then you are the pilot and you are the person to create or to make all the important decisions. Now, if you think, hey, the answer that I got is, well, not what I was exactly looking for, you can choose to recreate content using the regenerate button. If you are happy with the content, you can choose to keep it. If you have been creating a document like this and you are working with Copilot in Word, we can then go in and, for example, say, but this first bit here is something that I would like Copilot to rewrite. So if I select any kind of text, I can just go in, use the Copilot button again and go and say, hey, I want to rewrite this with Copilot, and then Copilot will take this text and rewrite it with some new content. If we think that this is what we're happy with, we can replace the content just like that. Other things we can do is go and select a certain piece of text, and we can go in and say, hey, maybe we want to write this. We may want to be able to visualize this as a table. However, when you want to create a table, it actually makes sense if there's any kind of values in there. Otherwise, Copilot will have to create a table, in this example, just based on text. And, well, sometimes text is not super useful for, well, creating tables. But here we can see that it still has been trying to take a field and the application and the impact as a table here. So if this is what you like, we can now create a table based on all this. And that allows us to, well, start creating some actually exciting content about something that we might not even know too much about. And still, we have a very decent document here in, what is it? A few minutes. Now, another thing we can do is, if this is too difficult, we could also go in and, for example, select the text that we have. So in this case, I'm going to select maybe everything that I have created so far, like this. And we can now also instruct it to do things. We can just take this, we can rewrite it again or visualize as a table. We can also use the Copilot side component here and go and say, hey, instead of just making it create content, we could, for example, allow Copilot to create a summarization of the content by using the prompt for summarize this document. It will then read the entire content, and it will then start summarizing the content here. So here we can see some summarization. Maybe we just want to go and take this, copy it over and say, hey, maybe we want to go and finish the document here with, let's say, the summarization or summary here. We can take it like this, paste the text in, and here we have a summary of the document. Maybe just change it a little bit. This is the summary of the document. So we can also ask other questions. What fields are affected by quantum computing? So we can start asking questions about this specific document here. We are now allowed to dive deeper into the content. We can see Copilot doing its work, reading the content, accepting my question, process the response, and soon I will get the response here. So we can see there's different fields that are affected by, in this example, quantum computing. Just like this, we can create a document very, very, very easy. However, we also have all kinds of other things we can do with Copilot. For example, I can go in and reference to a file that I already have. So in here, we can go in and say, hey, I have a PowerPoint, or I may have a document about wine, or I may have a document about climate change, or we have all kinds of documents in the organization. If so, in this case, I have a PowerPoint here, and we can now go in and say, hey, I want you to summarize this content. So, oh, and actually I have, oh, this is actually quite nice as in the demo. Generating content from this file isn't allowed because it's restricted by my organization's policy. Some documents are protected. For example, protected with information protection. And if I use this, then I am not actually allowed to use that document as a solution here. So maybe in this example, I want to reference to another file. And here we can see that this document is also being protected, as you can see with this. So based on that, we can even see that my existing security is already here. So what if I create my document to make it sensitive as well? Then reference to a file here. And now, for example, I want to summarize this doc or summarize this presentation for me. And then I want to generate. And now it's actually still telling me I'm not allowed to. Security is very, very important when it comes to Copilot in Microsoft 365. So with this, we have different ways for Copilot to create content for us. In Copilot in the web, we have the Copilot feature, and that allows us to communicate with Copilot. And we still are allowed to create content, but we have to create it in the right-hand side of the browser and copy it in. In the actual Copilot client, we have different options. For example, we can go in Copilot client in, for example, Word. We can start creating content, valuable content, using just simple solutions. Simple, natural language that we can apply into our environment.